Some people consider Drew Brees to be the heart of New Orleans, but there is a chance that he will not return to Nolans in the 2018 season. Yes, the Minnesota Vikings have reached out to Drew Brees. Now, that doesn't mean it's definite that he's going to go to the Vikings, of course. Obviously, the Vikings are in the Kirk Cousins sweepstakes, and they're talking about even bringing back Sam Bradford and whatnot. But overall, though, when it comes to Drew Brees, the reason why the mainstream media never pointed this out like a month ago or maybe 2 months ago is simply because we all expected Drew Brees to re-sign with the Saints. The Saints have always talked about Drew Brees ending his career in New Orleans, and not only that, they've always been re-signing him and restructuring his contract, etc. But he is set to become a free agent on Wednesday, and the Vikings looks like they have expressed some interest. And when it comes to, if you want to put in all free agents in consideration, Drew Brees is probably the best free agent out there. But everyone talks about Kirk Cousins, though, because of the history of the Saints and whatnot. And when it comes to the Kirk Cousins sweepstakes, a lot of people narrow down the sweepstakes to the Vikings and the Jets. And it seems as if that Kirk Cousins is leaning towards the Jets. And I've heard some reports out there that Cousins really wants some really big bucks and some big money. And when it comes to the Jets and all that, I think the Jets could potentially supply that money. And I don't think the Vikings have the same amount of cap space right there. Not saying the Vikings don't have a good amount of cap space. I just think the Jets have more cap space. And not only that, when it comes to Drew Brees and all that, if they get him, they're looking at a win now kind of team. And it's not necessarily as if the Vikings are a young team. Sure, they got some young players here and there, similar to Dalvin Cook and whatnot. And maybe you could look at Adam Thielen as kind of young. But Kyle Rudolph has been in the league for a while. Linval Joseph has been in the league for a while. Anthony Barr, Harrison Smith. You're talking about a team right there that is well established. If you bring in Drew Brees, it seems that if they do bring in Drew Brees, they'll probably draft a quarterback in the second round to help develop. And this is a theme of the Minnesota Vikings. They have brought in veteran quarterbacks before. Back for 20 years, they brought in Randall Cunningham, and he had a phenomenal season. Same thing with Brett Favre back in 2009. And now maybe Drew Brees could be that other piece. And Drew Brees and Brett Favre are close friends. They do know each other. I believe Brett Favre is from the Louisiana area and whatnot. And Drew Brees and Brett Favre have talked over the years. I remember Drew Brees asked Brett Favre about what's it like to play in Seattle? How do you guys handle the noise out there? And I definitely think it's quite interesting. And I think if they go with Kirk Cousins, it's definitely a long-term solution. And I definitely find it very interesting because I compare Kirk Cousins to Drew Brees a lot because I'm talking about if the Vikings or the Redskins let Kirk Cousins go as they did, would it be similar to how Drew Brees was let go to the San Diego Chargers? And obviously, I think the Chargers would have rather have kept Drew Brees than got rid of him. But when it comes to it all, I definitely think that if Drew Brees goes to the Vikings, I think a lot of people are going to be looking them to be a Super Bowl performer. And all of that, I don't think his stats would really change for him going from the Saints to the Vikings. The Vikings still have a quality receiving core whatnot, and they still got a run game which Drew Brees would like to run after. And plus, they're both dome teams. If Drew Brees went to a team similar to, I don't know, to the Buffalo Bills, let's say a quarterback, I don't think he would do nearly as well since he is definitely a dome quarterback kind of guy. But if he goes to the Vikings, he still plays in a dome 9 times in the year, 8 in Minnesota and once in Detroit. But overall, guys, I've been talking way too much. What do you guys think? Leave your comments down below. Will this affect the Kirk Cousins sweepstake? Do you honestly think Drew Brees will leave New Orleans? Let me know down below. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.